Hey, I'm Steph.
And I'm Alex.
And we want to welcome you to our podcast,
The Film
Film
Bros.
Today, we will be talking about the 1999 classic film,
The Mummy. Stephen Sommers' incredible triumph, if you're me. And apparently less of a triumph, if you're Steph.
No. Okay, okay.
Okay.
It is, in fact, a triumph of wow, that happened.
We
Let's
both just
please.
rewatched it.
Yes,
and
just
I noticed
this very
that
morning.
Yeah, I noticed that when we first started this call that you maybe weren't as enthusiastic about The Mummy as I was.
Now, here's the thing. I can appreciate this film for what it is, which is it's supposed to be fun.
It's
You're not
campy.
supposed to be poking holes. Yes, exactly. You're not supposed to be, deep diving into the deeper meaning of the Mummy. That being said, I didn't know anyone's name until like 45 minutes in, something like that. And
They say Rick
maybe
O'Connell 10 million times. And
they
Evie.
do, but
and Jonathan.
said her name.
And Imhotep.
They do. But there is something about, like, so much is going on that I just couldn't quite catch on to who anyone was, why they were there, what was happening.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
And I remembered it being silly and over the top, but wow.
It's very
it
silly.
Was way more than I remembered.
Yes, it's very quippy and funny.
Than expected.
A lot more explosions?
It's just like a lot more explosions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like an action comedy adventure movie.
Yeah. And I will say every single person in it, every actor is like having the best time.
Clearly,
and
yeah.
they know exactly the movie they're in. They're having a blast. Some of the lines I was like scream laughing at. They were incredible. Like,
do you remember any in particular?
Yes. There's one that I want tattooed. No, I'm just kidding. But
I'm going to hold you to that.
The one Yeah, no, now that I said it, that this would be so suggestible. There's one guy that when they're explaining, like, okay, the mummy has come back to life. Sorry, spoiler. He comes back.
Guys, we're gonna spoil the mummy. Okay, I'm sorry.
We're gonna spoil the whole thing. When the mummy like comes back, the American guys, which that's a hysterical thing on its own.
Yes.
They're explaining like how he has to get each one of them that reawakened him to in order to like come back to full form or whatever. And the one guy goes, yeah, he's gonna get each one of us and suck them dry.
That's what he did.
He yells, suck them dry, like so crazy. Like,
how else would you describe really what he does to these people though?
No, it's completely correct. It's right.
It's just funny.
It's just funny.
Yeah.
And like I'm a librarian.
I'm a librarian. I love drunk Evie.
Awesome. She is so drunk.
Okay, look though. Look, Evie is all of us, okay? Listen, not all of us. Nobody is as beautiful as Rachel Weisz. Nobody ever will be.
No one in this world.
She might be the most beautiful woman on the planet. But like
I
love that she's like so relatable because she's like ridiculously clumsy and her like hyperfixation enthusiasm gets her in trouble all the time. And she's like really smart, so she can like fix the problems she accidentally creates by just like bumbling into things.
That's so true. But on that note,
yes,
I have a question for you.
Okay.
That I need to discuss.
Please.
Who do you think the real hero of this movie is?
Oh, Evie. Well, she's also the creator of the problems, but I think, Ardeth. Actually, I think it's Ardeth.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Ardeth is the real hero.
Because everybody else messes things up, awakens
constantly.
They know that they shouldn't be reading from the book of death.
That one, my couldn't be me moment. We'll get there.
Did it? They know, and yet everyone goes through with it, and then they just go home. They just leave the mummy in the tomb. They're like, we'll just head back.
Well, they
All
gotta
good.
like. Well, no, Rick is like, I'm
And
leaving.
Rick's like,
Goodbye.
I'm out of here.
And Evie's like,
Toxic.
we have responsibilities to the world. And also, it's like climate change. She's like, this
Yeah.
is going to also affect you. And he's like, bye. It's not immediately affecting me, so I'm going to ignore it.
Yeah. The only people that I found at all redeeming was the person that Evie works for.
Yeah.
You know,
The
I forget
Magi.
his
They're
name.
all in the Magi.
All of that.
Mhm.
They are the only one. They are the hero. They're like, hey, we're just protecting this thing because evil will be unleashed unto
Yep.
all.
Yeah.
And
But
then
like,
they're the ones that sacrifice their lives to fix it.
they do. They do. And actually, the guy who played Ardeth was supposed to die in the film. There's a point where
Really?
he like sacrifices himself for Rick and Jonathan, and like he was supposed to die in that scene.
Yeah.
And Stephen Sommers liked working with him so much, he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna rewrite it because I want him in the sequel." And everybody in the world went, "Yay, Ardeth!"
Yay! Yes. So that's my take. Is that
Yeah,
are
you're
Evie
not.
and Rick heroes? Or
Yes,
did they
no,
create
they are.
this issue?
They are
Okay.
just because. Okay, we. Should we be casting stones? How many times do we cause problems by like falling over stuff? Like, we are not the people to be criticizing this flaw.
You're right that I would pick up. I would definitely be the one to like pick up a book and be like, "This looks interesting. Let me read a passage."
Well,
And
she
then it
does that
releases
classic trope of like, "Oh, I don't believe in anything supernatural, so nothing's gonna happen." Which it's like, don't. What do you stop? Listen to the people like me who say, "Err on the side of caution."
Yeah. Yeah.
I
would
actually did
also-
write
yeah.
down why
Oh,
everybody
please.
I thought was relatable.
Okay.
I said,
I'd
okay.
love to hear.
Yeah. I said, okay. Well, I really relate to the Carnahans because Evie's clumsy and her enthusiasm for her hyperfixations gets her into trouble. Jonathan can't keep his mouth shut.
Fair.
Just yakking away. Rick O'Connell is relatable because
Yakking.
everyone keeps shitting on Americans around him, and he's like, "LOL, yes, I agree. I relate." The warden, God Hassan, is relatable because he's scared of caves and hates bugs. And I too feel that way.
Hate bugs.
Yeah.
Hate bugs.
Imhotep is relatable because like it's really annoying when you're trying to like you're just trying to accomplish a task and everybody around you is like making it really difficult.
Yeah.
You know? And Ardeth is not relatable
totally.
because he's pure and perfect and I can't relate, but I love him.
I was going to say, can't relate because I'm not that good of a person, but rock on.
And Benny is relatable because sometimes we all just suck. He's the worst and he sucks.
He's
and
the worst part of all of us.
He is the villain. He's the okay, if Ardeth is the hero,
he's the real villain.
Benny is the villain.
Listen, I have a hot take. I don't think the mummy is the villain.
The mummy's not the villain. I feel bad for the mummy through the whole movie.
I feel bad for the mummy.
And I think you're supposed to. It's supposed to be complex. Yeah.
Now, is it?
I do. Yes, I do think it is. I think that it's supposed to be from his perspective, this epic love tragedy.
Oh, yes.
And from everyone else's perspective, they're like, "That's great. Could you not destroy us in the process?"
That's great. Don't kill us, though.
Yeah. But at the beginning, I'm like rooting for him and his girlfriend. You know, Anuksunamun.
I was too. Oh, gorgeous,
stunning. We also do need to touch upon the fact that this is a movie about hot people. Everybody's
it's
hot.
About hot people, and there's too many, and it's wrong. And
it should be illegal.
You can't walk around looking like that.
Brendan Fraser? You can't. Yeah. Put it away.
You can't.
Your hotness,
Put that
you
away.
stop that.
And he's so like sassy.
You shut your pretty mouth, Brendan.
That.
Yeah, I know.
No, honest. And
I like
such
the quippy.
A kind face. You can't be hot and kind.
When we get into the trivia section, I have some information about who was almost cast and why Brendan was cast, and it has a lot to do with that.
Oh, I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I need to know.
Rachel Weisz is the hottest person in the world. Ardeth is hot.
Yeah,
Imhotep is hot. Jonathan's hot.
Yep.
Everybody's hot.
Jonathan. Everybody's hot, and this is ridiculous.
Anuk-Sunamun, they really set the tone with that first outfit she wears in the first scene, where you're like, this is a movie about hot people. Okay, that's what we're gonna do for 2 hours. Everyone's just gonna be hot.
Walked in
with the gold.
Oh my god, you can't walk around like that. What about
Ma'am,
the rest of us?
I
What
wish
about
she
the
was
rest
in
of us?
more of the movie, honestly.
So do I.
Mhm.
I
Well,
was hoping
she,
that she was gonna come back to life for like just a hot second as that original form because my God, wouldn't we
yeah,
all fall in love with that?
we sure would. And I offer no spoilers about the sequel, but I
I
did watch it
haven't
on the
seen the
plane over
sequel.
here, so it's fresh in my mind.
Did you?
Yeah. I like the sequel. I think it's fun. They go on a hot air balloon.
Oh, cute.
We are not going to do a full recap this summer. We're going to, if you guys beg
Yeah.
for them, if you beg, all right, we'll give you the
If you
full
get
like
on your,
2 hour
just kidding. I'm
episodes.
not gonna say that.
No, suck them all dry. If, if if you guys want them back, tell us. But we figured that since it's summer
Yeah,
vacay and we're easy breezy, we're just going to focus on some like key elements of the movie.
yeah. We're
But
being cover
before we
girls.
dive into that, should we do a little trivia?
We should.
All right. Okay. So The Mummy came out in 1999, but it started its life in the 1980s. And it had a very long journey to get to being made as the movie we know today. So in the 1980s, producers James Jacks and Sean Daniel wanted to do a modern remake of the 1932 film The Mummy, which was like a classic Universal monster movie alongside like Dracula, Frankenstein, those classics, right?
Yeah.
So Universal said, okay, if you can keep it under $10 million, great. They wanted like a low budget, easy to pump out horror franchise. So George A. Romero, who's known for Night of the Living Dead, wrote a treatment, which was kind of like, it was like if the Mummy was the Terminator. But that fizzled.
Not
And then
against it.
not against it. And then Clive Barker, who was a British horror novelist and director, was going to direct it with a script written by Mick Garris, who is known for adapting Stephen King books. So we're very in like horror land with this first interpretation.
Like very horror.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the original. Um, so Mick Garris's script was like still in the horror arena, but it was like kind of like weird and sexy. And the studio was like, no. And then the next drafts
No
of the
sexy,
script were
sexy.
no sexy. Little did they know it would be one of the
Little
sexiest
did
movies
they
ever made with no sex in it and still somehow one of the sexiest things in the
a
world.
lot. Really.
So studio didn't like it. So the next drafts of the script were by Alan Ormsby and then John Sayles, and those got closer to the versions that we know with like certain elements like the flesh-eating scarabs and the epic love story. And Daniel Day-Lewis was going to play the mummy. But then Universal was like, I'm sorry, how much do you want us to spend on this? No. Hard pass.
I could see it though.
I could see it too. So then in the 90s, George A. Romero came back and was like, okay, no, we're making it. It's a horror movie, but this time it's a female protagonist. And everybody's like, yay, including me. But his concept, it was going to be like modern, and it was about like this woman who has like a psychic past life relationship with Imhotep. And that was considered too dark. And Romero was stuck in contract negotiations with MGM. So his whole thing fell through. Then Mick Garris came back and pitched an Art Deco period piece that almost got made, but then Universal got sold to Seagram, yes, the Canadian ginger ale factory, and it all fell apart. So then in 1996, Universal hired Kevin Jarre, who's known for Glory, a movie that I love. And they were like, okay, fine, we will do a high budget epic period piece, finally, which is like what it should be, in my personal opinion. Yeah. So they were in a slump after a few economic disappointments, and they needed a really big hit. So then Stephen Sommers pitched his vision in 1997, and he said he pitched it as, I quote, as a kind of Indiana Jones or Jason and the Argonauts with the mummy as the creature giving the heroes a hard time, which slaps, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it is. He wrote an 18-page treatment about how he wanted it to be an epic romantic adventure with horror elements, and thus the film we know and love was born. So Jax, the producer, initially offered Rick O'Connell to Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Tom Cruise, which is like full circle because then he was in a Mummy remake recently. I didn't see it. I had no interest.
Oh, I didn't either.
I was like, Brendan Fraser's not in it. I don't care.
If Brendan's not in it, we're done.
No. But so none of them were either available or interested. And then Leonardo DiCaprio was interested in the role, but he was like pursuing it hard, but he was contractually obligated to do this film called The Beach instead, so he couldn't do it. And he tried to get production
Huh.
for The Beach delayed so that he could do both, but 20th Century Fox was like, no. And then it ended up getting delayed anyway, so he could have done it. What do you think that would have been like, Leo in the role?
A Leo mummy?
2 years after
I
Titanic.
don't know. I mean, I could see him being really fun. It's hard to imagine anybody but Brendan because he is literally perfect in this.
Yeah, it's
You
such
know,
an
like I
iconic.
can't.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm so happy it was him, and I just like love him.
I
So
know.
it's
I
hard to
feel
imagine
like
anyone else. But do I think Leo would be fun? I do.
he would be fun. It's definitely true. And
Yeah,
he would also have great hair, just like Brendan Fraser does. But I feel like
flowy,
he would
nice
come
hair.
off maybe
Yeah.
a little young. I don't know.
If it was right after Titanic, I see
Mhm.
what you mean.
Yeah. I don't,
Yeah, because
yeah.
he
It's
he
hard.
definitely had that boyish charm then.
hmm And
Yeah, but
Brendan
I think
Fraser
he would
plays Rick
make
O'Connell
it
like such a
crazy.
man, you know?
Yeah, it that's one of the things I noticed when I was watching it actually is that he came off I mean this in the best way, like older to me than I had remembered it.
hmm
Like for some reason in my head he was like a really really young kid
No,
and
he's a
he
man.
wasn't in this
hmm
and he is
He is
fine.
he's a man.
He's a man.
Oh, he's a man. So George of the Jungle got Brendan Fraser the role because Stephen
That
Sommers
makes
saw it and
sense.
was like, that is a likable, hot, great
That's
actor.
a star.
And we agree that George of the Jungle, Brendan Fraser, is like the pinnacle of what any man could ever be. Like, he's so
I'm a little warm.
hot in a kids movie. He like, how dare you
Yeah.
be that hot? Like,
He has
you're
no
you're
right.
not saving it for a grown-up movie. You gave that away for a kids movie. He is so hot in that movie. And it's not just that he's like in incredible shape and like is like really handsome. He's just so like
No.
it's his essence. He's so likable in it, you
Oh,
know?
I know. And you
Mhm.
know what? I think George of the Jungle for some of us little people that love men now as adults
Yep.
being like, wow, maybe I could like someone that has like charm and is sweet and good to me and kind and
Ding ding ding.
you know,
Yep.
like George of the Jungle is really when you started to like the good guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Listen, if
like
the good guys were like George of the Jungle, I'd like all of them.
meow. Sorry, Brendan. It's just we love
Sorry,
you.
Brendan, we don't mean to objectify you. We just think you're really, really amazing and we love you. And again, like,
Nice and
yes, he was incredibly,
beautiful.
incredibly handsome, but it's like his essence. Like he's
Yes,
got
it's
like
his kindness.
he's got like written by a woman syndrome. You know what I mean?
Ain't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
And he made me so scared of quicksand.
Me too. What's with all the quicksand?
So scared.
Uh,
There's a lot of quicksand.
sure is. So yeah, Stephen Sommers was like, that George of the Jungle guy, get him, because he was a big hot star and he was still fairly cheap. Like his star was on the rise.
Yeah,
Stephen Sommers said, quote, I hate boring macho action heroes, but Brendan is not that at all. He's a lot of fun and can be really charming and lovable. A guy that women like, but men like too. That is the Brendan Fraser magic.
wow. He got it
Mhm.
spot on.
He sure did. Rachel Weisz was the only person that was offered the role of Evie. She said she wasn't really into doing a horror movie, but then she found out it was more like a sort of comic book kind of movie, and she was like, okay. And she said, quote, I thought the script
Nailed
was
it.
perfect, a romantic adventure story. In a way, it read like one of those old-fashioned classic films, a sort of Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant movie, but with real adventure in it as well. And I agree. They have like an old-fashioned screwball comedy dynamic.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
is very old timey, and I almost feel like you can tell that she's playing into that archetype in a really fun way.
for sure.
Yeah,
Definitely. Like you can see the Katharine Hepburn and Bringing Up Baby influence for sure.
totally.
Arnold Vosloo, who played Imhotep, got the role after one audition. And he said he would only do it if he could play it totally straight, like from Imhotep's perspective, like this is a very serious thing. And I think that grounds the whole thing. I think Imhotep's
Oh,
story and character is what kind of keeps the feet on the ground.
Me too. I actually don't know how else that would be played even.
Sort
To
of
me,
like,
it has
I'm a
to be
big
that.
scary monster.
That was good, Alex. I don't know. I'm seeing
Maybe
that
they should have
now.
given me the role of
Maybe
Imhotep.
Alex as Mummy?
Alex as Mummy. Somebody call Stephen Sommers.
Somebody call him.
This is funny.
Female
He
mummy?
was like, he
That's
had to be
feminism.
like, what? What?
I said a female mummy? Now that's feminism.
That's feminism. So he had to be shaved every single morning for this role because he's in very skimpy clothes, and he had to be like totally hairless. So he was waxed once and was
Okay.
like, I'm never doing that again. So he had to get up at like 5 a.m. and be shaved by like a bunch of PAs every morning. Which I thought was funny.
Imagine being a PA on that set, like, oh man, time to shave again.
I've made it in Hollywood, Dad. I'm shaving Arnold Vosloo
really
today
cool
and tomorrow
and forever.
and forever. What are you doing with your life?
Yeah. Oh, cool. You have a desk job? Yeah, I shave.
Can't
people
relate.
in the morning. So
I'm living the glamorous life.
whatever.
Yeah. He also did his own motion capture acting, which I thought was cool, especially in like
That is
1999.
cool.
Um,
Yeah.
The film was shot in the UK and Marrakesh, Morocco before moving to the Sahara Desert. They shot in the Sahara. It was like a 17-week shoot.
Wow.
We got to talk about like the safety
Mhm.
issues that happened on this film because a lot of the stunts were practical.
That sounds like my nightmare, actually.
Truly. Okay, this is like Pirates of the
Yeah.
Caribbean in a lot of ways, but also in that I look at it and I'm like, this is exactly what I want to do. And then I hear about the making of it and I'm like, I don't want to do that.
I'd be so scared.
You have to be on a boat for 18 hours a day in the scorching sun for a month? No.
Ooh.
You have to be in the Sahara
Wow,
Desert.
agoraphobia.
So, to avoid dehydration in the scorching heat of the Sahara, the production's medical team created a special drink that the cast and crew had to consume every 2 hours. It was essentially like hydration stuff.
Right.
Yeah. And there were sandstorms like every day. And there were a lot of like wildlife problems.
They actually filmed there
in the Sahara, which is why it
I'm
looks
like
so
not
cool.
over
Like
that.
I mean, yes, the CGI is a little clunky, but wait till I tell you how much money was spent on it because you're going to lose your
The
mind.
CGI is CGIing.
It sure is. But I think a lot of it looks really good because, like, not the CGI, but I think a lot of the film looks really good because it's practical.
Yeah,
They were
you
in
can
the
tell what
Sahara.
the practical shots are.
Yeah. So several crew members had to be airlifted to medical care because they kept getting bitten and stung. This is my nightmare.
I'm sorry. What?
Brendan,
My
this is a
nightmare as
famous
well.
story. Seriously, this is a famous story. But Brendan Fraser nearly died during the scene where his character is hanged. He'd been given a note by Stephen Sommers to sell it more, which like meant that when the rope was too tight, nobody knew that he wasn't acting. And then he lost consciousness and he woke up on the ground. And Rachel Weisz said that he literally stopped breathing and had to be resuscitated. And there are conflicting stories between Stephen Sommers and Brendan Fraser about what happened. Brendan Fraser said the rope was too tight. Then Stephen Sommers said, no, I gave him the note. And what he took that to mean was to tighten his rope. And then Brendan Fraser said, okay, well, yeah, but I was only doing what the director told me to do. So whose fault is that? So there's some scuffle.
I'm going to say Brendan misjudged on that one. I love you, Brendan, but
We've been
don't
in
tighten your own
productions with actors who take notes a little too far and end up hurting themselves and others.
rope. You know, so have I.
But also, I think maybe a strangulation by rope shouldn't have even been possible. So,
well, you know, that's really the key here.
yeah. So it's kind of on all fronts.
All
Yeah.
fronts, that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. The production had the official support of the Royal Moroccan Army, and the cast members had kidnapping insurance taken out on all of them, and they weren't told that until they wrapped. Yeah.
Now that has to be against SAG.
It was a different time, Steph. a little more about the terrifying practical stunts. Imhotep's live burial scene at the very beginning, where they mummify him and then put him in a tomb and then pour scarab beetles on him, which I'm like, okay, but why did you bother mummifying him? Because the scarab beetles are going to eat through the mummification. So, like, it's an extra step.
Just for fun.
I really think they
For the
did it just
vibes.
for fun. But I also, apparently, it's like part of the ritual of the spell that happened. So,
Fair enough.
yeah. But that live burial scene was practical, which meant that he had to be wrapped in full mummy wrapping for 4 hours. Couldn't move his arms or legs. Face covered.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Quit. I would quit. That would be it for me.
Sue.
Or a lot of Xanax. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, seriously, just doped out on Ativan. Rachel Weisz, at the end when she's put, I know, isn't that crazy?
I hate
No stunt
that.
double. He was like, I'll do it. And you can see just enough of his face to make it worth it.
His
But
eyes.
like, yeah, I mean, he's acting through the whole thing. 4 hours.
Yeah, he did it, damn it.
He did the damn thing. Rachel Weisz at the end when she's being prepared for the sacrifice and she's on the stone table next to the dead body. She had to lay on the stone table for 9 days of shooting. Not straight. Obviously, she got to go home and sleep in between, but they were shooting that scene for 9 days, which meant she just had to lie on the table. Which, like, at first I was like, fun. You have to just lie there?
I was gonna say, like, okay, you can nap between takes.
For the first hour, maybe. For 9 days, I would be like, I have to get off this table.
I'm done.
Done. This is the one that had me spiraling, and I was like desperately trying to fact check it, and I could not find anything that conflicted against it. So I'm gonna have to take it as true.
Okay.
When the warden,
math.
you know, the warden goes with them on the journey to protect his investment. When the warden gets the beetle under his skin, which is the worst part of the movie,
very,
and he smashes his head into the stone wall to destroy the beetle in his brain. That was practical. There wasn't really a beetle, but a stuntman was rigged with a wire that yanked back right when he was literally like an inch away from the stone wall. And it looked so good, but that was real. Like, if anything had gone wrong, he could have been brain dead.
Concussed.
At least.
That's also, I have a whole side note about that character. I don't like the way that character is written. I don't like it.
I don't either. I think it was a bit, but I think Omid Jalili did a good job with him. I think the Omid Jalili, the actor and comedian, he did a really good job with him, but like, I agree. A bit about the special effects. Listen,
they're bad.
They're not great, but I'll tell you what, the idea of them is effective. And here's what I mean by that. The sort of the screaming face idea that appears in the sand, and then sometimes it appears in sandstorms. That's very frightening. Like,
oh yeah, it's scary.
The idea of it works. Yes, it was. I don't think the CGI was ready for it at the time.
No.
So,
but you know what? There was a lot, I feel like, that was inspired by that. Don't you feel like you've seen that in other horror movies?
I do. Well, I feel like this movie had a big impact in general on the culture, on filmmaking. I do.
Yeah.
So it was the trailblazer, which meant that it maybe didn't look the best.
Fair enough.
Steph, guess how much the filmmakers spent only on the special effects budget?
What's the total budget?
$80 million was the total budget.
Okay. So total budget 80 mil.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was fairly inexpensive overall in terms of like everything else. So maybe like 30?
It was 15. 15 million.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's still a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
They
overshot. $15 million of the budget were spent on special effects alone.
And it looks like that. No.
Okay. Effects House Industrial Light and Magic, or ILM, who you may remember from the Jurassic Park episode. Same guys.
I do.
Yep. They contributed more than 140 shots with additional work done by Cinesite and Pacific Title Mirage. So a lot of the shots were CGI
Yeah.
or involved CGI.
Well,
However,
yeah.
some were, as we said, practical, including like the times when Rachel Weisz had rats or bugs on her. Those were real. Yeah.
Rachel, you're a better person than me.
um,
You're better than
the
me.
release of the film was interesting too. Test audiences reacted poorly to the film's title because you have to think, when you say The Mummy now, we think like hot swashbuckling bisexual dream. That's what we think. When you said The
Yeah,
Mummy
of
in
course.
1998, people thought schmaltzy 1930s horror movie.
Sure. I could see
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
So
definitely.
they were like, we don't want this, boo. But they were like, no, we're gonna change what this means. And they did. So they did not change the title. They doubled down. And the way that they
stuck
built
to it.
Yeah, they totally reversed the perception of the film because like everybody thought it was gonna suck. And then they took out a spot in the 1999 Super Bowl. They took out a commercial, and
Oh,
I'm gonna roll tape
funny.
here. I'm gonna roll tape here because
Let's go.
yeah. So basically it's a spot that's basically like, after the game is finished, there are still scores to be settled. I'm not joking. And it was really effective in like, because it was all these like really exciting shots from the movie and like ended with a quip and had Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz looking hot all over the place. And people were like,
Meow.
what is this? Give me it now.
I will take a ticket.
Yes. One ticket, please. They were worried that the Phantom Menace would destroy it in the box office, so they delayed. So they moved up the release date. Yeah. And it was the #1 film in the United States and Canada on its opening weekend, grossing $43 million in 3,210 theaters. Its weekend take was the highest non-holiday May opening, the 9th biggest opening of all time, which it did then fall to second place behind The Phantom Menace. So The Mummy grossed over $155.4 million in the United States and Canada and $261 million internationally, grossing over $416.4 million worldwide. Not shabby.
Not bad at all.
So we could call, I mean, it was May, but we could call that a summer blockbuster.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think we will.
I think we will. And that's the trivia I've got.
Oh my gosh.
Those are the fun facts.
You know what that just makes me think, wow, it's so hard to make a movie.
It sure is. It really is.
You know?
Yeah. Especially a big movie.
Yeah, I do try to remember every time we talk about this stuff, and, you know, I have like, oh, here are things I liked, here are things I didn't like, whatever.
Right.
I always try to think, but everybody worked very hard.
Yes.
That intro scene where there was not a single real person and it was just CGI and it looked real bad. Yeah. You know what? Someone worked really hard on that, and I do have respect for that, even though it looked bad.
It doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
I can say real quick, if we want to check the score, checking the score was written by the great Jerry Goldsmith, iconic, prolific composer. He did the score for Patton, Chinatown, Alien, Poltergeist, Medicine Man, Gremlins, Hoosiers, Total Recall, Air Force One, LA Confidential, Mulan, Rudy, which is one of my favorite scores of all time.
It's a great one.
The man is a genius. He composed it, and at the same time, he was creating scores for The Haunting, The 13th Warrior, and Hollow Man, all at the same time as he was writing this.
Wow.
Busy guy. And so the score is traditionally orchestral with Egyptian influences, including using some regional instruments such as the bouzouki, which he created like an Egyptian sounding theme. And then Imhotep and Anck-Sunamun's love story also got its own theme, which was mirrored in Rick and Evie's love story music. And I think it slaps. I think the score slaps.
Oh, I agree. I think it's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a good adventure theme, love theme. It puts you in the place. It's great.
Yeah. I concur. So, what should we do now? Should we give out our awards? Should we talk about our scenes? What do you think?
I'm thinking let's do scenes and then awards last. It'll be like award time.
I love it. So, what were some of the moments or scenes or things that stood out to you while watching The Mummy?
So I would like to talk about the boat fire.
The boat is one of the scenes that I wrote down too. I love the
It's
whole boat
incredible.
scene.
I can't get over it.
Tell
What
me
is
your
it?
thoughts. Tell me.
Okay. So I have notes. Okay. So number one, I'd like to say the Americans being just cowboys and like when they're in a line shooting, and it's like
Hilarious.
the one of the guys, Jonathan, I think,
Jonathan,
runs
he
by and
goes,
he goes,
Americans.
Americans. That's amazing.
But then something scary comes out and he runs away.
Well, I mean, he's Jonathan.
I thought it was so funny.
It also like how did the fire escalate like that? I need answers. What? Like it's unbelievable. Dan and I both, I was watching with my boyfriend, both of us, the second that Rick shoots the first guy that he saves Rachel Weisz and he shoots that guy, he falls down and then just flames explode.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Just to clarify, when you're watching this movie, do you want real?
No, to be fair, no. Of course not. It's just silly. Like
Yes.
it's insane that he shoots one guy, he like hits a lamp or something, and the entire boat within 3 seconds is in absolute flames.
Yes. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. But also, you have to consider the fact that they're also under siege by a mysterious militant group. So
That's
it could
true.
be that the fire was aided because their whole goal is to stop these people. So it could be that the fire was accelerated by the Magi. That's what I always assumed. I guess I never thought about it. There's a lot that you just don't think about.
Also, I'd like to point out.
Yeah.
This movie was written by a man and it shows.
Yes, it was.
It shows.
Yes, it was. You're not wrong.
Rachel Weisz being thrown overboard forcibly in a white dress.
I thought that was funny.
Okay.
Okay, can I talk about my favorite parts on the boat scene though? Because
please.
I actually love that sequence because I really just feel like the movie gives me what I want in terms of like the tropes and the beats that I want hit in like a quirky enemies to lovers rom-com. And I just love Evie. Like I there were so many, I call her Evie because she's Evelyn. I love Evie. Like there are so many moments that where I'm like, Evie, you and me, girl. Like there's a moment where he like rolls out all his weapons in front of her and she's like,
absurd.
Hi. And she's like attracted to him inexplicably because he's Brendan Fraser. Fraser. Keep in mind, this is Brendan Fraser. It's not nobody. He's the most charming, handsome man on the planet. And
I mean, it's true.
She's into him and she like tees him up for this romantic moment and he totally fumbles the ball. And I'm like, how many times has that happened to me? Because men just don't read the script. Like there've been so many moments in my life where I'm like, this could be such a great romantic moment. And I hand it to a guy on a platter and he's like, anyway. And I'm like, dude, you have lines. Say them. Like, she's like, so why did you kiss me? And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, God damn it. And I just really related to that frustration where she's like, this is the movie I'm in. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
We're in a movie? And she's like, you're so lame and disappointing. But then she goes back to her room. And I love the sequence where she's trying to read and she can't read because she's all horned up for Brendan Fraser. And I was like,
she just can't
I
even
relate.
read
I love that. I'm like, yes, girl, I too sometimes can't read because Brendan Fraser is around.
Totally. For a second, I thought that she had been poisoned because she kept like...
She was like, in 1865.
And she was like clutching the wall and I was like, is she dying?
No, she's been poisoned by lust for Brendan Fraser, which who among us can contest with that?
You're right.
I
No,
remember a time when I was in
yeah.
college and I went out with this guy. It did not become a thing, but he kissed me at the end of the night, and it was the most incredible kiss I'd ever experienced to that point. Just a kiss. And I literally, like, I not one part of me was playing to the balcony when I did this. It was entirely organic. I opened my door, came inside, closed the door behind me, and leaned against it and was like, because it was like I was just, my socks were knocked off from this like incredible kiss.
Yeah.
And I
Have
was
you
like,
ever
okay,
done
so
that thing?
she
Wait.
is dickmatized, and that's what's happening.
Dickmatized. It happens to the best of us.
It sure does.
No, have you ever done that thing? Wait, I have to take my headphones off to do it.
Okay.
Have you ever done that thing where you like kiss somebody and then you're like, okay, I have to play it cool. I have to play it cool for like 3 more seconds. And then you go inside and then you do this. You do this. You shut the door
Uh-huh.
and you go.
Yes, I have. Close the door and then begun immediately silently like celebrating and punching the air, which is what you just did. Yes.
I'm a big silent screamer.
Yes.
Oh, right. People can't see me.
This is a podcast.
You just silent scream. You know what? I don't know what's happening.
But like that's why I like the boat sequence. I feel like you learn a lot about each character and the way they approach situations. Especially like Jonathan's playing cards with the cowboys. And
they are literal
he's
cowboys.
fully already told them where they're going and why. And then he's like about to say more and Rick is like and he's like anyway. But like that tells you so much about Jonathan, so much about Rick.
Jonathan, yeah.
I think it's an effective, I think the sequence is really effective. And never mind, I was going to give away an award, but I'll save it till the end.
Okay.
Yeah. That was one of the
Love
things
it.
I wrote down.
Love it. What's another scene that you
Well,
wanna
I
chat
kind of
about?
just put like Rick and Evie's love story in general because
Let's talk about it.
I just think it's delicious and fan fictiony and I'm a fan, okay? Because what I love
non-consensual. in the
okay,
beginning.
look, I made up a new award for our podcast. It's called the Only Works in Pretend Award. And it applies to
You
the
know
scene
what?
where he grabs her
Yes.
face and kisses her through the bars. Listen, in the movie, when it's all pretend, I think it works. That should never happen in real life.
I love this. Okay, continue.
So that one
love it.
only works in pretend.
Now-
award.
I love that award because I agree that there are instances when I'm like, do you ever do that thing in your head as a strong, independent person that you're like, it happens and you're like, wow, I really like that. And then you're like, no, that's wrong.
Yes, of course, because there's a huge difference between reality and fantasy. Like fantasy, there's an element of understood safety and understood control in which you can explore things that are fun, things that are interesting, like things
it's
that
true. And to be fair, she loved it.
She loved it, even though his teeth
like
probably hadn't been brushed in several weeks.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, their love story is it's smoking.
It's smoking because let me tell you what I love, Steph. I love when a grumpy guy who's above it all falls in love with a really earnest, sunshiny gal and then turns into a complete simp. I love that. So when Brendan Fraser has like decided that he's like, oh no, I'm obsessed with her. And he gives her the tools, the archaeology tools. He's like, hey, he's like really nervous. And he's like, hi, I got you these. I thought you'd like them. I don't know. Okay, bye. Like, I eat that shit up.
I agree.
Where at the beginning he's really grumpy and like rolling his eyes, and then he's like, "Oh God, wait, no, I'm obsessed with her." And then he's like,
What if when he sees
me?" Exactly, and so he like it's like a little bit of a character switcheroo where his defenses are down and he's just like really nervous. I love that.
I like that too, and might I say, that kiss at the end.
The one on the camel. Jesus
Yeah, on the
Christ.
camel.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
too much. That's too
Too.
much.
And then what I love, they do the big kiss, you know, the kiss capital
Yeah.
K that has to happen at the end of this movie. And then there's like,
Yeah.
as they're trotting away, he gives her like a little kiss with this little smile on his face. And it's like, just that 1 second, you're like, that's why Brendan Fraser was cast, because he's so sweet.
Daddy? Just kidding.
Mhm. It's not like a sexified kiss like the one before. It's like a by the way, I love
No,
you.
it's cute.
It's so good.
And then Jonathan's on the second camel, like third wheeling hard.
Third wheeling so hard.
Oh,
And I love when
Jonathan.
like Brendan Fraser tries, because he's like a gruff guy. So he's like, oh, she's in danger. I have to barricade her in a room because I have to protect her, even though she's like she's the most qualified person there to fix the problem.
Literally.
And then at first I was
also,
like,
why not just give her a cat?
apparently cats are the answer. What they should have
Like, why
done
not?
after the first cat is be like, okay, we need 50 more cats.
That's what. Where are all the cats in
We
this
can
movie? That's what
solve
I'm
this
saying. Where
problem
are the
with cats. That is
All
that's
you
a
need
whole.
is to
Yeah.
hand each person in the town a cat.
Yep. He can't get you.
Solved.
Y'all have cats. It's true.
Can't get it.
You're not wrong.
I'm not even a cat
Yeah.
person.
No, nor I. But cats really could have solved this problem if they'd utilized them better. They only used them once, where Rick's like, "Ah, look what I got."
That's what if you could just pick up any street cat
Yep.
and point it at the mummy and be good to go. Where are all the cats?
Where are all the cats? That is a fair question to ask. Stephen Sommers, where are the cats?
Steven.
What else stuck out to you, Steph?
I also wanted to ask you, because maybe I just missed something, but did we ever get any kind of backstory or explanation for why Rick was there to begin with?
No. I mean, it's just sort of implied that he was in the French Legionnaires, and there was a battle in that general area, probably for
Right.
land. And it ended up like accidentally stumbling into this lost city.
Huh. I wanted more Rick backstory.
Yeah. I think it
Like,
could
we
have
don't know
done with
anything
more
about
Rick
where is he
backstory.
from? What did he do? Like,
Mhm.
why is he here? What was his child life like? I don't know. We know nothing about him.
You're right. Yeah. We know a lot about Evie and
Who is he?
Jonathan's backstory.
Yeah.
Which I think is
Yeah,
really
like, we
effectively
know all
delivered,
about them.
actually. Like when she, at the beginning, when she
With the
gets stuck on the ladder and knocks over all the books, I'm like, girl, me too.
Relatable.
She just is too
It
enthusiastic and does not have the propriosensory skills to function. And the guy comes in and starts yelling at her, and we get a lot of backstory in that conversation.
I'm a librarian.
I'm a librarian.
I've never seen someone play drunk so equally over the top and effectively.
Yeah, somehow it managed to be completely scene chewing and still like, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, no, she's drunk. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
She's like, ooh, we might kiss.
Yeah, I loved that when she's like, I'm going to kiss you now, and then falls face first into his thigh. I'm like, same.
Hot. This whole movie, every scene, I'm like, hot.
Wait, can I talk about that scene for a second, though? Because I think it's
Yes.
so funny, because that's yet another example of how he is just so, like, he is her
Charming.
bitch now. Like, he is, like, obsessed with her.
Yeah.
And so he's like, you're so mysterious and interesting. She's the least mysterious person in the world, maybe other than me and you. She's not mysterious, but he's just like,
I deserve
you know,
that.
when you're obsessed with someone and you're like, I bet everything about you is fascinating. Like he's like,
Yes.
I get Jonathan. I'm like, you get Jonathan? You get why Jonathan's here? Although I guess,
don't.
I mean, it's treasure. It's because money. He's a sort of
Sure.
layabout who wants treasure. But
Sure.
like, he's trying so hard to like see her in this mysterious light, and then I love that by the end of the scene, he's like, "Oh, you're not okay, all right."
Yeah, he's like, what are you? And he's expecting her to be like, say something deep from her soul, and she's like,
Yeah.
a librarian.
She's like, I'm a librarian. That's me. I think Evie's a real one. I love her.
She is very relatable. Like
Mhm.
the bookshelf, that is I love that they kind of started off that way because it is so over the top that they
Yep.
keep falling. It's like way too long.
Yep.
And but I will say I would do that.
I absolutely would. And it's a great introduction to the character.
It is.
You
It is.
know?
Because she's smart, she's sweet, she's funny, she's clumsy. Like,
Yeah,
you
she's
know all of
clearly an
her
intellectual, and it sets up what she does later, which is fuck shit up. She is the catalyst for the
facts.
problem. But she's also
Yeah.
the most qualified person
Yeah.
to fix the problem.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you know what? That is relatable in of itself.
It sure is. Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
Yep.
Yep.
Do you have other scenes, topics?
Oh, I just really loved that Evie talking about mummification when they're in the tomb and she's like, wait till I tell you about what they do with the brains. That's all the women I know talking about their serial killer podcasts. Like the way that women, I am
Right.
apparently not one of these women just because I am just too suggestible and squeamish, but the way that women will sit there and tell you about like several brutal murders because they're like, oh, my favorite podcast talked about this. And they'll talk about it like, yeah, it was really, really interesting.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah.
That's
good.
Evie.
I know. See, I think I'm one of those people because I was listening to someone else be like, oh yeah, I listen to it when I fall asleep, and I was like, wow, it's amazing. Maybe I could be like that.
Yeah,
So I read Mindhunter. It's on my shelf right now. I'm too suggestible.
No, I can't do it. I can't relate to that.
It's a bad idea. It was a bad idea.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it.
And then the last like 40 minutes is full action movie, full horror movie. And I like
Yeah.
the stunts. I like when like lots of things are happening at once. Like basically until Jonathan gets the other book and sort of like shouts to Evie what she needs to do, and like
Yeah.
they're sort of trying to translate something while she's fending off zombies, and Rick is
Yep.
just running around smashing zombies. Like
Rick is
I think that's a
ricking.
fun scene. Rick is ricking. By the way, she calls him Rick the one time when she's drunk and then is like, I'm not doing that again. She calls him O'Connell for the rest of the movie because she's like, I don't want to say
Yes.
Rick.
Rick, what a lame name.
Yeah, she's like, I think I prefer O'Connell.
I loved that scene as well. Like when everything is going at once and it's just over the top.
Mhm.
Everybody's doing their own thing. They're like failing a little bit. Like Jonathan trying to do anything is funny.
Yeah. I think he is so funny in this. And the funny thing is that actor hadn't done anything like this to this point. He'd never done like anything with CGI. He'd never done a big action film. He was like kind of a serious actor. So he did not understand why he was cast. He was like, I'm not funny.
Oh, funny.
Which is hilarious because he is
Yes, you are.
so entertaining. He's brilliant.
Yeah. He's great.
Yeah.
Disagree. You rock.
Here's a question for you, Steph.
Yeah.
We both know that the hottest people in this movie are Rachel Weisz and what's her name? Oxynomen.
Oh.
Rachel Weisz and Oxynomen are
Yeah.
the two hottest people in this film.
Well,
Accepting them, who is your movie boyfriend? Who's your movie boyfriend?
wait, I just want to get his name right, but it's a very easy answer.
Is it Ardeth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's one answer for this. Hot.
Say more.
Hot, sacrifices himself for the greater good, is simply dedicating his life to protecting those around him. Mysterious, rides horses.
Yeah, leaves us wanting more. Like, I want more Ardeth.
You think maybe he could be bad, but he's not. He's the best of us.
Ooh, he really is.
And
He's like the
I
Victor Laszlo
like
of the
that.
bunch.
Yeah. And Victor Laszlo he's the one.
He's
the
goals.
one.
He's the blueprint.
He's the blueprint.
Mhm.
I loved him. And when I thought he died, I was yelling. I was upset. Because he is the most, like, he's the bravest, best man. And then when he shows up outside the cave at the end, I was like, hot, hot, hot.
Hot, hot, hot.
He's alive and he's still hot.
He is. I actually think that I'd pick him too, because the truth is I'm completely, I'm sorry, I am like bowled over by Brendan Fraser's Rick O'Connell. I think he's such a
Yeah, it's too
dreamboat.
much.
I think he's so
Yeah.
swashbuckling and cute, but I'm like really attached to him and Evie together. So like I feel like I'd be in the way. So if I were to jump into the
Yeah.
movie, I'd it would it would be me and Ardith. Yeah.
Yeah, like we'd be on a horse together.
Can't wait to read that fanfic. I bet it exists.
I bet you it does.
um cool. Anything else jump out to you?
I mean, that's pretty much it. It was a grand old time. I was like howling with laughter, both because it's camp. It's
It's
camp, right? Like,
it's totally camp. It's Stephen Sommers.
yeah.
Stephen Sommers is like he's a horror guy, but he's also a camp guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, everything else that I looked up that he had written was equally campy and fun.
Dracula. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, man. G.I. Joe, one of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That it was super fun. The CGI doesn't hold up, but that's kind of the fun of watching the movie now in some ways. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's fun to comment on it. It still works for the plot. It moves it forward. And some of the lines were just fantastic. Suck 'em dry.
Suck 'em dry. I have to say, I like how quippy it is and how funny it is. And it got me thinking about how lately that's something I don't like in movies because like a lot of Marvel movies or a lot of franchise movies are quippy in a way that really rubs me the wrong way. And it got me thinking because I was like, I love how quippy this is. And then I was like, wait, that's something I don't usually say. And I was thinking about how like a lot of movies from the 90s and 2000s, I enjoy the quippiness of, like Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, like I like the quippiness in Lord of the Rings is not quippy, but there are quips. You know what I mean?
There's moments.
And I was trying to figure out like why one is something I really enjoy and one is something that I bristle at. And I think it's just become really commodified and forced. They're like, our movie has to have quips because Deadpool had quips. So our movie has to have quips. You know what I mean? Like it's this, it feels more cynical and more outside
itself.
That's what I was
going to say. Yes, that's what I was going to say about that is that usually the quips now, I think they don't work as well because they're laughing at the thing itself. They're not having fun within the movie. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I think that's exactly well put.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back honest quipping.
Bring back earnestness and earnest quips. We want to see it.
Hashtag earnest quips.
Hashtag earnest quips, guys. Tell me about your awards, Steph.
Let's get into it. Award time.
Award time. Season. I gave out pretty much all of the awards.
I did as well.
Should we just go back and forth, like down the list, back and forth?
Let's go back and forth.
Okay. Steph, who won your Couldn't Be Me award?
Where is it? Yes. My Couldn't Be Me award was falling in love with somebody that grabbed my face through a cage and kissed me. But
what if it was Brendan Fraser?
See, okay, but that's okay. If it was Brendan Fraser, yes.
Okay.
Then we all would be in love. But I'm saying anyone else in any other situation, if a random man in jail grabbed my face through the bars, I don't know him. I don't know his crimes.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know his crimes. We don't know why he's in jail. I
don't know.
We never find that out.
And all I'm saying is, I'd be upset. Couldn't be me.
All right, that was a good one. Evie won my Couldn't Be Me award when she read from the damn Book of the Dead. You know me. You know I believe in that shit. I don't want to. One time, remember when we were shooting that film and Kelsey was like, what if we got a Ouija board? And I was like, I will quit. I will leave the production.
I will leave.
I do not think that shit's funny. Listen, who cares if it's not real?
No,
Err on the side of caution, because if it is, you got a real problem on your hands.
I'm actually with you on the Ouija board. I'm with you. I feel like that manifests bad shit.
Bad shit. And so if you get something out, first of all, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing in a tomb? Leave it alone. Stop going in there. But
For
if
the
you get
treasure,
a
for the
book of the
gold.
dead, don't read from it. Don't open it.
That's
Put it back.
It is so campy and ridiculous that she's like, "Oh yes, the Book of the Dead. Let me go ahead and read the front cover."
And then there's that noise that's like whoosh, and Brendan Fraser's like, that happens a lot here. Quippy.
Yep.
My runner-up
Quippy.
for Couldn't Be Me,
Yeah.
I didn't give it because it wasn't this guy's fault, but it was still like the worst thing I could possibly conceive. When the American guy
Ugh.
breaks his glasses in the tomb, there is nothing
That is
scarier to
I
me.
wrote down tropes be tropin' because
Tropes be tropin'.
that is like a classic horror, somebody
God.
steps on your glasses, but I agree, I would absolutely flip out.
It's my worst nightmare. It's so scary to me
That
being
guy
stuck in a scary situation and breaking your glasses.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
That guy really doesn't earn his death. Like,
No,
he
he's a
doesn't earn
sympathetic
all the
dude.
horrible he really had it
That
rough.
poor guy. He's the one who got his eyes sucked out, right? And his tongue cut off. And then he got sucked
Yeah.
dry.
Suck 'em dry.
Who won your look of the movie?
Oh, it was the mummy. What is her name? The very, very opening Luke.
Yes, her name is
very, very first Luke.
Onyx, and she also won my look of the movie. I almost went to
I
Evie's
mean-
Arabian makeover, which was problematic, but she looked so hot.
It was problematic, but she's so beautiful.
But her on that camel with her like legs up, flashing a little knee with that
Yeah.
like veil. What the heck?
Yeah.
The
You know what?
heck?
It's that new award that you have that like it's fantasy, it's okay.
Only works in
When
pretend.
she's only works in pretend. When she's thrown overboard, the only reason for that happening is so that she has to change into some beautiful outfit. And when she comes out in this full ridiculous and he's like,
Stunning.
"Wow." And she has no glasses on. All of a sudden she's a hot McHotterson, even though she always was, because let's be real.
She's Rachel Weisz. Yeah,
And
she takes her glasses
because
off
she's
and
Rachel
he's
Weisz.
like, I
He's
will
like,
devote my life to you.
Yeah, but then you know what? You're right. When she's riding the camel,
Oh,
my
dude.
God, my God.
My God. But I really think that Onyx first look just
Oh my
destroys
gosh.
every other look.
If
Followed
nothing
maybe
else,
by
like, for the makeup itself, whoever did her hair,
Gorgeous.
makeup, everything. My
Oh.
goodness.
and then Imhotep at the end is wearing sort of like the same outfit but in a little Speedo. It's so good.
It's so tiny.
Ooh. And like we said, everybody in this movie is hot, so I appreciated it.
Like, yeah, I liked it. I mean, I liked it.
Who won your straight to therapy award?
Oh, the mummy, because
Yeah,
you know what? He had a love of his life,
he did.
and she was murdered.
Yeah.
And then
No, she killed herself, but she
yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
it,
You're right.
it was under duress.
It was under duress. And then she gets murdered again
Yeah.
in front of him, and he just needs some loving. He just needs some
Yeah.
help.
He needs
He
some
needs
help.
to talk through that with someone, because I think that I'd be angry too if I were him, but he shouldn't be murdering people, and I think he could work through it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who won yours?
Me, after the warden gets the bug under his skin. I need help. I need to process through what I just saw, and I'm never going to be the same.
Shut up. That's so funny.
Bye. I literally was
you're not
alone. I was watching
wrong.
it alone in my home, and I've seen it a million times. And I literally stood up and went, no, and walked away.
It's gnarly.
I
It's
hate it.
gnarly. Yeah.
How about your Don't Go Back in the
enough.
House award?
Right. It's similar to your Couldn't Be Me. Brendan Fraser being willing, or Rick being willing, to go back to the evil mummy crypt, and he knows that it's known for being
Yeah.
where
Ooky
the dead
spooky.
people are. Ooky spooky. And then they continue to find the book, and then they continue to open the mummy coffin, and then they continue to read from the Book of the Dead.
Yeah.
All of that. Stop it. Don't go back.
I said
Leave
the
it in
whole
the past.
movie. Yeah. I truly did, because I was like,
Same.
literally every choice is what leave it alone.
Don't stop. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Stop. Agreed.
Do you have an only works in pretend moment? Are you giving it to Evie's makeover?
Yeah, I'll give it to that.
Okay, that's a good one.
Because
How about your
hot.
yeah. Listen, it's fantasy and I want it.
Yes. I
um
want the veil.
I
Yep.
want it. Did you have an oh hey it's that guy award?
I didn't, but I wrote down fake Jamie Lannister because one of the American guys looks
He does.
so
Oh my
much
god.
like Jamie Lannister. Every time he came on screen, I was like, it's him, it's him. GOT, let's go.
It's not, but
And that
I
doesn't
know
count because
exactly
it's
who you're
not.
talking about.
It's the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost gave it to Ahmad Jalili, who I know from stand up and like comedy,
Oh,
but I actually
cool.
gave it because I, again, have seen this movie many times and I totally forgot that Jonathan Hyde is in this movie. I was like, Jonathan Hyde, what the hell are you doing here? He is the British like patron of the American expedition. And
Oh, yeah, yeah.
you might know him as Mr. Ismay from Titanic or the dad / Van Pelt from Jumanji. He's in a million things.
Whoa.
Great actor. I'm always so psyched to see
Amazing.
him. And he's just like all up in here, immediately declaring to all of us that he's going to die a bad death because he's like, what could a woman do? Sir, you're gonna die you're gonna get mummied.
And you just earned it. You just earned it.
Yep.
I didn't recognize him, but that's a great one.
Yeah. Every time he pops up in anything, I'm like, Van Pelt.
Funny.
Yeah. I didn't have any other awards because did I forget any?
I have an I ship it.
Oh my God, I do have an I ship it. Okay, who's yours?
The Mummy and his lost love.
Yeah. Onyx Phenomenon. Man, did they have good chemistry in the one scene they had together. Holy shit.
Wow, sparks were flying.
Mm. Yeah.
How about you? I think I can guess.
No, I ship Ardith and you. No, I'm just kidding.
Hell yeah.
I didn't put, I mean, I do, but I didn't put that. I put Rick and Evie because I just like I eat up their tropes. I love it. And I think they both are just such charming people and they have really good chemistry so that like when that kiss happens at the end, you're like, oh, yes.
It's true that when it happened, I was like, do it, do it, do it, do it.
Do it. And then he gives her the little kiss.
See, this is a lesson to be learned, you romantics. Big kiss, then little kiss. Big kiss, then little kiss.
Big kiss, then little kiss. Also,
big kiss, little kiss.
Little kiss. Also, if you're a guy listening to this, when a woman cues you up to have an incredible romantic scene or give an incredible romantic line that will fulfill all of her needs, wants, and fantasies, don't be like, I don't know, anyway. Even the best of you, Rick O'Connell,
don't try to be cool about it.
Failed at that. So can you just get it together? Know your lines.
I feel like that is such a good note to be taken for all, is that don't try to be cool about it. Don't try to be cool. Don't be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Be like Evelyn.
We're not being cool.
Yeah.
We're being romantical.
We're being romantical.
Get on the train or get left.
Get on the camel.
Get on the camel. Those camels run so fast.
Yo, didn't that make you want to ride a camel across the Sahara? Like, I know that it sounds incredibly unpleasant and they had sandstorms and had to drink a concoction every 2 hours or they would die. And they kept getting bit by shit. But like, didn't that make you want to do that?
Yeah. I did ride into the sunset on a camel.
With Brendan Fraser.
Ran.
They do. And they spit.
They do spit real far.
Well, and that's The Mummy.
That's The Mummy.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear what all of you guys think of this film. Do you love it? Do you love that it's campy and fun? Do you think it's too over the top? I need to know.
And do you remember seeing it in theaters? Do you watch it in the summer? I saw it at the drive-in a couple years ago. It was so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I can't remember where I first watched. I think it was probably on TV, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's how I first watched it. I didn't see it in theaters. I saw it later, but I wish I had, because what a blast that would have been. Let us know. Let us know your experiences. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Film Bros Pod. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Alexandra Wideeyes.
And you can find me on Instagram and TikTok tack, tic tac toe, at Sturci, at STURCI. Yes, go watch a
Go
blockbuster.
watch a blockbuster. Go watch The Mummy.
What's
Goodbye.
the money?
Bye, movie lovers.
Bye.
Bye.